Hey, is this thing on? Testing. All right, you guys join me on a very sunny afternoon. I'm going to take Gage down the bike path. I've heard that there are baby beavers down in the pond. So we're going to take a walk down there and see if we can find them, and there might be some other wildlife along the way. Okay, so the first chore is I've got to get the halty on Gage, and then we're going to see if he can still jump up in the back of the truck. It's a new year, so he's a year older. Can he still do it? I don't know. Let's find out. All right. Halty is on. Come on. Nothing to it. Holy smokes. Okay, let's go. Dude, you just peed in the back of my truck. You're cleaning that up. Honest to God, it's worse than having a 3-year-old. He's so freaking excited to go for a walk, he pees in the back of my truck. And he does this all the time. And my OCD will not let me drive the truck down the road without cleaning up the pee. So here we go, 20-minute delay. Oh, nothing like warm, dirty. Duh. All right, we're gonna need those for sure. Super bright out today. Well, I'm actually super excited that Gage can still jump in the back of the truck. That means he's got another year of adventure without having to put steps in there for him. The easier it is to bring him, the better chance he's gonna come on adventures. So as long as he can keep just jumping in the back of the truck, that's better for both of us. Emergency brake. I use that because I know after paying $1,300 to have it replaced last year that I'm not doing that again. And speaking of the truck, we did bring it in and get the spring service done on it. I also had, on top of the regular things we do, I had all the doors greased, the spare tire greased, emergency cable, undercoating done, because I've decided that I'm going to keep this truck for, I don't know, another 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever. I was going to sell it this year, and the prices are just crazy. And with all this tariff BS that's going on, they're talking about used vehicles. You know, you're going to get more for your used vehicle, but then everything you go to buy is going to be another $10,000 or $12,000. This truck is paid for. It doesn't owe me anything. So common sense, you know, at 64,000 kilometers on the truck, it's like new. I'm just going to keep it. It's just going to be the first vehicle. I may drive this thing until the wheels fall off of it. Whew, just passed a guy in the trail, and we both looked at each other and said, yeah, we're both overdressed. It's really warm today, but you never know. We get these mornings that are like minus 15 or 18 degrees Celsius, and then by the afternoon it could be plus 10. So wear layers, I guess, is the only advice I can give. He thinks if he rubs his halty long and hard enough that he's going to get it off, but you are mistaken, sir. Okay, so it's super bright and sunny, but I do have the 70-200 lens, and we're going to check the pond down here for the blue heron. I've heard he's back, and there's a couple of beaver lodges out here that apparently have baby beavers swimming around in the pond. Way too early for turtles or anything like that. We still have snow on the ground. But the spring birds are coming back. I've already seen some red-winged blackbirds at the mouth of the trail here, so I know the sparrows are back, robins are back. You never know. We're going to go check all the feeders. This bike path, all the old ladies can walk it in the winter because it's flat. Now, yeah, they do run snow machines on here, so personally I think it's dangerous, but the old ladies, and you see them with their walkers, and there's groups of 3s and 4s, they have feeders about a mile down the trail here, and they keep seed in there all year long, and there's all kinds of red squirrels, and chipmunks are out now this time of year as well. So we're going to look for spring wildlife and see if there's baby beavers in the pond. That's my main goal, is the baby beavers. Okay, that's just weird. We've got a little poplar tree here, and somebody's tied a pine cone in it. I'm not sure what that's about. Hey, out of the water, you! Let's go. You're gonna be all muddy. You know it's a warm day when he's getting down there in that ice cold ditch water. So I mentioned in a previous video that just down the road, maybe, you know, mile and a quarter from here, they're building an indoor arena, which is part of the sports complex. They've got soccer fields and baseball fields out there, and they're adding this arena. And they were blasting. And yesterday, I'm sitting at the computer working, I hear a blast, the house shakes, the windows shake, and immediately the power goes off. There's a loud zapping sound and the power goes off. So within 5 minutes, my neighbor comes over and he tells me that he was out working in the shop and the blast was so powerful that it blew the shop doors shut. And I said, yeah, I felt it here. It shook the house, the windows all shook. And really, guys, I shouldn't be doing that because we're all on wells, right? And that can mess up our wells. It can cause cracks in our foundations of our houses. Anyway, so we called the city and complained, and then the city was trying to tell us that no, our power going out had nothing to do with them blasting. And they sent out hydro, and the guy found a dead squirrel in the ditch, and he said, oh, there's your problem. The squirrel jumped on the transformer, and a bunch of nonsense. So I have the insurance adjuster's number, just in case, but what a joke. Yeah, they're blasting, and just coincidentally, a squirrel, you know, blew up our transformer. Sure. So there's a few people out on the trail today enjoying the sunshine and the spring warmth. Okay, we're coming up on the beaver pond here now. It's very bright, but I might be able to get some photography done if we stop down. If the young beavers are swimming out there, we'll try. Frozen in here, but it's open out further. No, come on, get off that ice. So I can see out there by the lodge, there's still ice. So they would have to be swimming in here, in this channel here. Oh, I see some geese back there. Yeah, there's a couple of geese back there. Well, no sign of the beavers, but you know, they usually come out in the evening. I just thought on the off chance, you never know, they might be here. Somebody did report that they were out earlier today, so just taking a look. We'll come back, and we got to continue walking down to get to the bird feeders. We'll check again when we come by. You never know, they might be out. So I just got a text from my buddy Andrew, who him and his wife are the ones that we're going to be going down to Vegas here in a couple of weeks. And he was saying, you know, it's sad that he says he's embarrassed to tell people that we're going to the States. And, you know, we feel the same way. Everyone is boycotting America right now because of all these issues with Trump and the travel and the tariffs and all this other stuff. And I said, you know, he said, well, we're going to have to put some American flags in our backpack. I said, hell no. No, never going to happen. This guy is proudly Canadian. In fact, I'm going to be wearing my Never the 51st State hoodie quite proudly. So if you hear of anybody causing a ruckus, you know, down at one of the shows or at one of the casinos, it could very well be this guy. Because proudly Canadian, and I will not bend the knee. So every little poplar that's down there, 3 inches or less, is getting chewed off, eaten. Well, that poplar there is probably 12 inches in diameter, so they are taking bigger ones as well. And then you've got to watch, like right here on the side of the trail. They're waiting to drop that one on somebody's head. Don't let anyone ever tell you that the beavers aren't always scheming. So I did 4 miles of running on the treadmill this morning. Now I'll take Gage here for another 3 or 4 miles of walking. I'm starting to get serious about dropping that winter weight and getting back into metal detecting shape. And tonight I've got the golf simulator booked for an hour. The wife and I are going to go down, have a drink, and swing some golf clubs. We're doing a new thing where for date night every week, we each take turns coming up with a date. So this was my first go. The kids had bought me an hour session at the golf simulator, or so I thought. This is what they told me. They gave me a piece of paper and said that they paid for an hour last Christmas, and I never used it. I found this in my sock drawer and I thought, wow, okay, this is great. So I'm going to take the wife and we're going to do this, and it's going to be cheap because it's already paid for. And then I called the guys and I said, I don't have any barcode or anything on this piece of paper the kids printed for me. Am I in the system? No, I'm not. So now I'm investigating, going, hey, wait a minute, did the kids waste 50 or 60 bucks here? Why am I not in the system? And I come to find out, after the wife and I do a little investigation, the kids never actually bought it for me. This was just their idea. This is what they were going to do for me. So they put that in my stocking at Christmas and said, here, Dad, we got you an hour at the simulator. And then they were going to go and actually pay for it when I did it. So, and that was last Christmas. So they completely forgot about it. And they think they're getting away with not buying me a Christmas gift, but I booked the simulator for an hour. It was 56 bucks, and I told them they're paying for Mom and Dad's date night tonight. I do see some birds away down there on the trail. They might be jays. Dude, really? It's like a prison sentence, and he's trying to escape. Ah, the beavers have finally gone high tech. Look at that. It might be time that we start thinking that we're going to have to get rid of these beavers. They're getting too smart for their own good here. Can you hear all the birds? We're getting close to the feeders. A lot of bird action happening down here. I don't see too many. They're way up there. But I can hear them. Grackles, starlings, chickadees, nuthatches, a robin, a fat red squirrel. Sorry, dude, I didn't mean... Okay, it's spring weight, I know. It'll come right off. He's chittering at me. You called me fat, man. Okay, so there definitely is something to this, because here is another pine cone tied with a yellow ribbon to some small underbrush. I don't know what that means. Gage, do you know what that means? He doesn't know what that means. And there's a hawk up there circling overhead. Well, not getting any pictures. Mostly just the chickadees are the ones coming down to where the seeds are. But it is nice to hear all the variety of different birds and know that spring is here. It's warm. I should be taking off this outer layer, but just happy to get out and go for a walk. I do love this time of year where it's warm and yet it's still cold, because you're getting the coolness when the breeze blows over that ice that's still on the ground. You get that nice cold breeze that hits you, but then that disappears and then it's warm, and it's just, I don't know. It's not the best smelling time of year. That award goes to fall, right? When everything's starting to decompose. This is like you just get the dog poop on the trail smell. That's what spring is, right? Nobody likes that. Except Gage. Gage loves that. I spoke too soon. Yeah, Gage loves that. He's like, oh, what is this? Let me investigate. Beautiful, beautiful spring sun. So there actually was a beaver out there in the pond when we were coming back through, one of the adults. And that splash brought to you by Gage. Gage got a little too close and the beaver was like, forget you! And he took off. That's one of the adults. But we'll come back down and we'll look for the babies. They're here. I think there's 2 babies. And probably better chances in the evening. Maybe come down with the night gear and see if we can get them. They should be, you know, eating right here along the edge. Night, they won't care. We can get a lot closer and we can use some of the infrared stuff. But still cool to see them out here in the afternoon. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll catch you in the next adventure.